All right, my people, let's do a little philosophy. Today we're going to apply the tools that philosophy gives us to a YouTube short by Matt Walsh. You probably know who Matt Walsh is. I did not before I saw this short that popped up in my feed. I wanted to do it for two reasons. One, Matt has a really spectacular beard and pretty great hair. The other reason is, if there is one topic that students historically have come into my class with really strong beliefs about, and really terrible arguments supporting those beliefs, it's abortion. Folks on both sides have terrible justification for those beliefs. So I thought it might be interesting. Without further ado, let's jump in and offer a philosophical critique of this argument regarding abortion rights.
Now, when the Supreme Court made the decision about Roe v. Wade, we were told that by the left, including many of them secular atheists, it doesn't matter what the Supreme Court says, women have the right to abortion. What do you mean right? What are you appealing to exactly when you talk about this mystical right that exists? You're not appealing to God. What are you appealing to? If you can only appeal to man, if you can only appeal to the government, then it's up to them what the rights are. And it doesn't make any sense. If the government says you have a right to this, it doesn't make any sense to say, no, that's not true. What do you mean it's not true? According to you, a right by definition is simply whatever the government says. This is a real problem that I don't think anyone on the left has even attempted, or very few people on the left have even attempted to confront or deal with or wrestle with. And it just makes everything they say about human rights totally meaningless.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. The first thing jumps out and punches me in the face, which is the difference between trying to rationally pursue truth, what I'm trying to do, versus people who are kind of activists or political activists trying to convince people. I am now aware that Matt Walsh is firmly in one of those camps. He's really trying to convince people because, one, if he was really after the truth, he would be addressing the arguments that he barely hints at the end. No one on the left is doing this. Well, some people are doing it. Well, I think a few people have tried to do it. If you really want the truth, you go after the very best arguments that challenge your views. Hell, if you really want to have good beliefs, you should be attacking your own beliefs with the best arguments you can come up with to see if they withstand it. Try that out. Take a belief regarding a contentious issue you have and try your best to come up with the greatest objections to it. If you're unwilling to do that, or you don't want to do that, or you're Matt Walshing it and ignoring the best arguments, then you're not really interested in the truth. He isn't worried about coming up with the best argument regarding abortion rights. He's worried about winning. Number two, he makes the claim that there's a dilemma facing the leftist. If one believes that legal rights are constructs and they aren't based on the word of God, you have no principled way to object to the laws of the land or object to the freedoms that are legally protected as rights. And that's just wrong. I'll give you two examples off the top of my head. One, I could absolutely believe consistently that legal rights are political constructs, but also believe that they ought to reflect objective moral principles that are based on something other than God. Deontologies are out there. Consequentialist arguments are out there. Really good theories that have pretty damn good arguments for them, none of which have anything to do with God. Here's option number two. I could say legal rights are totally and completely arbitrary constructs. However, legal rights need to be consistently rationally applied. For example, even if I think that all legal rights are arbitrary, it's unfair, inconsistent, and irrational to have half the population covered by particular legal rights and the other half not. Plenty of people will make really solid arguments regarding abortion rights, pointing out that they are a violation of property rights that extend to women in ways that no other laws extend to men. That's a possible argument. So it isn't a problem. It isn't an inconsistency. It isn't, as Matt himself recognizes, that no one on the left is making these arguments. It's that he conveniently wants to focus on the people who aren't making the arguments to make his side sound better and the other side sound worse. That's, again, the difference between political activism and pursuit of the actual truth. Overall, what would I give Matt Walsh in an intro-level class? I'd give him like a C, maybe a C-. The reasons for the C- are, one, he creates a straw man. He says, some leftists have addressed this, but I'm going to ignore them and focus on the ones who haven't. Two, he fails to recognize the totally rational, thoughtful, sane positions that he just ignores exist. He asks the question, what are you appealing to? I'm telling him right now, here are the things that people appeal to. One, objective moral principles that don't rely on God. Two, it's entirely possible that someone wouldn't appeal to any moral principle at all, but just a rational principle. That if we're going to extend particular freedoms to one group of people, we ought to extend it to the other, and whatever rights people have ought to be extended to all people. If you think I made a mistake, if you can find an error in my thinking, if you find a flaw in my argument, let me know about it in the comments. Thanks so much for the time. I'm interested to see the conversation. Have a great day. Bye.